Hi everyone, I'm Candy from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you the Hulu hanging ornament from the Chinese Aesthetics series. This product consists of the main part, the decorative rope, the hanging string, and the tassel. Let's start by learning how to crochet the main part. We'll use the magic ring method. Then, we'll work in spirals, crocheting counterclockwise around the starting point. After completing the main part, we'll make the Hulu vine. First, let's familiarize ourselves with the chart. In the chart, our ND plus number indicates the round number. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch techniques needed for the current round, and any increases or decreases. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches for the current round. The total number of stitches after completing all rounds. The stitch techniques used include X single crochet, V, SC 2-in-1, single crochet increase, SC2 tog, single crochet decrease, chain stitch, and slip stitch. Now, please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. The main part of this product is crocheted using 2 strands of yarn worked as 1 strand. Follow the chart to take the corresponding yarn. Here, I am using random colors. I will first demonstrate the crochet method using cotton yarn. Then, I will show you the crochet effect using the original yarn. Everyone, please watch the demonstration first. Then we will proceed with the crochet. First, we start with a magic ring. Wrap the yarn tail around your left little finger once. Wrap it from front to back. Pass it through the space between your middle finger and index finger. Next, pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. Since we are using a magic ring, the starting yarn tail should be held securely. Leave it a bit longer, about the length from your thumb to your index finger, plus a little more. This will give you more yarn to weave in later. To prevent the center from coming apart, pass the yarn from front to back, and wrap it around your middle finger. Pinch the crossing point of the loop. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Insert the hook through this loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Hook a chain stitch to secure the loop. Yarn over. Draw through. 1 chain stitch is completed. This secures the loop. The adjustable magic ring is done. Keep the loop like this. Now, crochet the first round. Our ND1 is 7x. The number before the X indicates how many single crochets to make. Here, it means to crochet 7 single crochets into the magic ring. Start with the first one. Insert the hook into the magic ring. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw through. 2 loops remain on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through all loops at once. This completes 1x stitch single crochet. From now on, we'll refer to it as a single crochet. There are 2 strands of yarn that make up the V shape at the top, right? This is the stitch of a single crochet. Place a marker on the stitch to mark it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a paper clip or safety pin instead. Continue with the second single crochet. Insert the hook into the magic ring. Put your hook above the yarn. Draw through. Draw through the 2 loops on the hook. This completes the second single crochet. In the first round, you need to crochet 7 single crochets. Continue to crochet the remaining single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The corresponding stitch pattern in the chart is now complete. After completing it, remove the loop from the hook. Now, close the magic ring. Pull tight the starting tail. Tighten the center of the piece. This completes the closure of the ring. Since we are working in spirals, you only need to crochet the stitch pattern from the chart for each round. This completes the first round. Move on to the second round. Our ND2 is 7V. The number before the V indicates how many SC2 in 1 to make in a row. Here, it means to make 7 SC2 in 1. In the first stitch of the previous round, make a SC2 in 1. That is, at the stitch marker position. Crochet 2 single crochets in this spot. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. 1 stitch. Move the stitch marker to mark the spot. Insert the hook into the same stitch, and crochet a single crochet. This is the second stitch. This completes 1 SC2 in 1. Continue making SC2 in 1 in the left stitches. Don't forget to weave in the ends. This completes the second SC2 in 1. You need to make 7 SC2 in 1 in this round. The remaining 5 should all be made using the method of crocheting 2 single crochets into each stitch. After completing the last SC2 in 1, check the stitch count. Start counting the stitches from the stitch marker position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14. This circle has a total of 14 stitches. The total number of stitches for each round is indicated in the corresponding table. I won't mention this again going forward. That completes the second round. Now I'll demonstrate the first 2 rounds using the original yarn. You can see the crocheted effect? Don't forget to mark the first stitch. This is the first round. Continue with the second round. While crocheting, don't forget to place a marker to mark. This is the second round. Continue with the third round. RND3 is XV times 7. The parentheses indicate a group. Times a few indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First, crochet 1 single crochet at the stitch marker on the left side. Move the marker to the first stitch. For the first stitch of each subsequent round, move the marker to mark. This makes it convenient to find the starting position. Work 2 SC2 in 1 into the next stitch. One group, XV, from the chart is completed. I'll demonstrate another group. First, crochet 1 single crochet. Then work 2 SC2 in 1 into the next stitch. This is the second group. You need to repeat this pattern 7 times in this round. For the remaining 5 groups, follow the method of 1 single crochet, then 1 SC2 in 1. The last SC2 in 1 should be worked into the adjacent stitch to the right of the marker. At the end of each subsequent round, finish with 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch to the right of the marker. This completes the third round. You can take a look. The right side texture is clear, while the wrong side texture is blurry. From now on, all crocheting will be done on the right side. Now we'll start the fourth round. First, crochet 1 single crochet. Then work 2 SC2 into the next stitch. Then crochet 1 more single crochet. 1 group, X, V, X from the chart is now completed. I'll demonstrate another group. First, crochet 1 single crochet. Then work 2 SC2 into the next stitch. Continue with 1 more single crochet. This is the second group. Continue crocheting using the same method. This completes the fourth round. Now move on to the fifth round. First, crochet 3 single crochets. Then work 2 SC2 into the next stitch. 1 group, 3X, V, is now completed. Pay attention. Try to follow the stitch pattern order in the chart for the increase placement. Don't adjust it randomly. This can affect the curve of the fabric piece. Continue crocheting using the same method. 3 single crochets. 1 SC2 This is the second group. Continue crocheting the remaining groups. This completes the fifth round. Let's take a look. A raised texture on the right side indicates 1 round. The starting positions of the first few rounds are aligned in a straight line. Avoid the starting positions. Counting outwards from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have completed 5 rounds. Next, we will crochet the 6th round. First, crochet 2 single crochets into the next stitch on the left. One SC2 2 single crochets. This completes 1 group 2x, V, 2x in the chart. Then, repeat this group of stitches. Follow the pattern chart to crochet. This completes the 6th round. Move on to the 7th round. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets according to the chart. After completing them, make a SC 2-in-1. This completes one group of stitches. Refer to the table and crochet 2 more groups. This completes the 7th round. Next, crochet the 8th round. This round is even 4-5x. This means one stitch corresponds to one single crochet. After completing the 8th round, the total number of stitches will be the same as the previous round. This completes the 8th round. For the 9th to the 12th rounds, the crochet method is similar to the 8th round. It is even 4-5x, which means one stitch corresponds to one single crochet. Each round will have 45 stitches after completion. Continue crocheting until the 12th round is finished. When you encounter this format later, it means the same thing. Mark the first stitch of each round to avoid confusion about which round you are on. Everyone, finish these rounds. After completing the 12th round, start the 13th round next. First, refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. Then, crochet 1 SC2 tog. Let's take a look at this. The 2 strands of a stitch. The strand closer to the right side is called the front loop. The other strand is the back loop. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first stitch. Then insert the hook into the front loop of the next stitch on the left. There should be 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over again, and draw through in once. 1 invisible SC2 tog completed. This method of picking up only the front loops for a decrease is called an invisible decrease. Using this technique, the gaps between stitches are smaller. The fabric overall is more delicate. This completes one group within the parentheses in the chart. Move on to the next group of the same sequence. Start with the corresponding number of single crochets. Then work one invisible SC2 tog. The hook passes through the front loops of the next two adjacent stitches on the left side. Yarn over, pull through the first two loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times, once, twice. Invisible SC2 tog completed. This completes the second group of the sequence. Everyone, work another group of this stitch pattern. This completes round 13. The remaining part of the fabric is relatively simple in terms of stitch techniques. Just follow the stitch pattern for each round, and crochet them. Round 16 consists entirely of invisible SC2 tog. After completing it, stretch the loop. Make sure the loop doesn't slip off. Add a little bit of stuffing to the bottom for padding. Fluff up the stuffing and stuff it in. Fill the bottom and around the sides. Leave the middle empty, and add the spices later. After completing it, everyone continues to crochet according to the chart all the way to round 23. After completing round 23, stretch the loop. Make sure the loop doesn't slip off. Then take out the spices and pour them inside. Add them in small amounts multiple times. Try not to stuff them along the edges. Otherwise, the edges will feel a bit uncomfortable. You don't need to add too much. The amount depends on personal preference. Then take out the filling cotton and stuff it into the edges. You can use tweezers to help. Stuff it firmly. After the lower part is well stuffed, continue crocheting the remaining rounds while adding a small amount of spices and filling cotton. Just a reminder here. In the second to last round, when you work invisible SC2 tog, pull the yarn slightly tighter. Don't leave too large holes. The last round can be a bit tricky due to the fewer stitches, so take your time and crochet a bit slower. That covers the main crochet technique for the body. Once the final round is completed, let's move on to making the Hulu vine. First, leave a 50-centimeter tail of thick yarn. Then pull it through. With thinner yarn, crochet 1 chain to secure. Leave a 20-centimeter tail at the end. Thread the yarn needle. Hide it inside the fabric. Weave it in a few times. Then you can either cut it or hide it further inside the fabric. Once done, take out the wire. Fold it in half. Insert it into the center of the last round from the inside of the fabric. Push it in slowly. If it gets stuck, use the crochet hook to poke it from the inside. When removing the hook, do it slowly, to avoid pulling out the stuffing. Continue pushing in the wire. Until it won't go any further or about 5-6 centimeters are left on top. Then thread the reserved yarn through the darning needle. Pick up the front loops of the stitches and pass through them one by one. Then slightly tighten. Apply a little glue at the base. You can use a needle to help spread the glue. Then start wrapping. Or rotate the gourd. Wrap for about 5-6 centimeters. Apply glue near the ending position to secure it. If there's extra wire, cut off the excess. Then take out one spacer bead. Thread it through the gourd vine. Stick it at the position of the last round. Once the glue is dry, bend the gourd vine. If you have a pen at home, you can use it to help. If you don't have a pen, just bend it directly. That's how you finish the Hulu vine. Next, let's learn how to make the decorative cord. It consists of two parts, the small circular crochet pieces and the accessories. Start by crocheting the small circular crochet pieces. After completing it, attach the accessories. Please watch the demonstration. Get the yarn. Here we are using 1 strand of yarn to crochet. I will demonstrate with cotton yarn. The color is random. Start by leaving a long yarn tail. Then hold the yarn with your left hand. And hold the hook with your right hand. Start with a magic ring. The method is similar to the first round of the main body. Just the number of stitches is different. After completing the magic ring, crochet the corresponding number of single crochets into the ring. The yarn is quite thin. Everyone should crochet a bit slower. After completing it, gently pull the starting tail. Stop when the first stitch and the last stitch are next to each other. Let it form a circle in the middle. Finally, pick up the first stitch. That means hook 1 slip stitch through these 2 strands. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. Pull through all the loops on the hook. Slightly tighten. Finally, make 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave the same length as the starting tail at the end. Cut the yarn. This small circular fabric piece is now completed. Everyone follow this method to crochet the remaining circular fabric pieces. 4 of them should have red beads inserted. The rest should have small gold beads inserted. Use a beading needle for assistance. Place the yarn in the middle of the beading needle. Then take the corresponding beads and thread them through. Now they are all threaded through. Then divide them evenly into 2 groups. Two red beads on one side. 4 small gold beads. Then take one group and combine them. Tie a knot at the top. The distance from this knot to the bottom of the smallest circular fabric piece is about 4.5 centimeters. Stagger them slightly in height. After tying the knot, then thread the remaining yarn through the wooden beads. Use a beading needle to help. Thread them bit by bit, because threading too many at once can easily damage the beading needle. So when you're threading, go a little slower. After threading all of them, tidy them up a bit. Push the wooden beads to the knot. Then take the main piece. Wrap the thread around the dent of the main piece for one round. Then start braiding. Braid about half the distance plus 0.5 centimeters. You can use a weight to hold down this end. Divide the thread into 3 parts. With 4 strands in each part. Start braiding. Press the left strand over the middle strand. Then press the right strand over the middle strand. That's how you do it. Press the left strand. Then press the right strand. Keep braiding. When you reach the corresponding length mentioned earlier, Secure the end with glue, so it doesn't come apart. Then, using the same method, braid the other part as well. Once completed, sew it onto the dent of the main piece. Take out one decorative cord. We'll separate one strand first. Hide the remaining strands inside the fabric. Run the thread through the fabric a few times. Then cut off the excess. This will secure it in place. Then measure the distance along the braid. At the symmetrical point, Take out another decorative cord and measure it. To check the position. Once it fits properly, secure it here. With the wooden bead end. Slightly press down on this spot to make it look neat and attractive. Once completed, take the separated strand and thread it through the sewing needle. I'll use a finer needle here. Then, start securing the decorative cord so it doesn't fall off. Sew a few times to make sure it's secure. Once completed, tie off and weave in the ends. Next, don't cut the yarn. Place it here. That's how you handle the decorative cord. Now let's learn about the hanging string. Use the hanging string method to crochet chain stitches. First, follow the chart. Cut out the corresponding number and length of yarn. Combine them into one strand for crocheting. I'm using one strand of cotton yarn for the demonstration. Start by reserving a length of yarn, about 4 times the length of the hanging string. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Hold the needle with your right hand. Place the needle underneath the yarn. Wrap it around like this. Here, the yarn forms a crossing shape. Place the needle above the yarn. Start the hanging string chain stitch. Bring the bottom yarn from front to back. Over the hook. Make a chain stitch. That completes one stitch. Continue. Bring it from front to back over the needle. Make one chain stitch. This is the second stitch. Continue with the third stitch. Bring it from front to back over the hook and make a chain stitch. After completing it, follow this demonstration. Crochet to the length indicated on the chart. Once the corresponding length is completed, without hanging the yarn, make a chain stitch to secure. Pull the yarn through. That concludes the crochet method for the hanging loop. Next, let's talk about installation. First, I'll explain the installation method for the slightly shorter hanging loop. Then, I'll explain the installation method for the longer hanging loop. The slightly shorter hanging loop is installed directly on the same side. Slowly tuck the hanging loop thread into the fabric. You can insert it a few times. Then, thread the remaining yarn of the decorative cord into a sewing needle. Sew the two ends of the hanging loop together. And secure it to the main piece. Once it's secured, tie off and hide the tail. You can cut off the unused thread on the other side of the decorative cord. That's it for the installation method of the slightly shorter hanging loop. Now, let's talk about the installation method for the longer hanging loop. This involves sewing the two ends of the hanging loop to the adjacent position of the remaining decorative cord thread. Start by hiding the yarn tail. Then sew the hanging loop, similar to the method used for the shorter hanging loop. Just sew it well and you're done. That's it for the installation method of the hanging loop. Next, let's talk about the tassels. Take out the pre-made tassel. Fold the top part of the hanging string and cut it. Then insert it into a darning needle. Sew it onto the first round of the main part. Sew back and forth a few times to secure it firmly. Push the knot into the fabric. That's it for the installation method of the tassel. Up to this point, we've covered everything about this product. If anyone has any unclear points while crocheting, don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service. Susan's family. Support your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.